Hello. Today we are going to be talking about the bans that are happening to random ASMR creators. I'm going to be kind of sharing my thoughts as someone who creates ASMR. I watched these two videos that kind of went into the details of what has happened, and I will link them below in case you want to check those out. But basically, content creators are being targeted and their channels are being abruptly deleted without any option to speak to someone, a real person, to fix it. And some of those channels, it makes sense. But the content may have been inappropriate for YouTube. My dog is sleeping in here, so she keeps making noises, so ignore that. But others of the channels did not have inappropriate content, and they were banned apparently just based on content that they make in other places, completely separate from YouTube. And so, obviously, that's scary because there's not really an alternative option to YouTube for long-form content. And so, if you are the type of creator that's being targeted, you are essentially having your voice suppressed because you are no longer allowed to join the conversation in a long form type of way. And this is scary because it's not humans making these decisions. It's based on AI, and there is no real informed person making the final decisions. It's being outsourced to an extreme extent, and that is terrifying because it's not just that type of creator. It's also all kinds of creators have been demonetized and banned with no recourse because of a technicality. And these are issues that if there was a real place you could go and talk to someone face to face, explain the issue, they could fix it in 5 minutes, and you could do what you need to do and get your channel back. But because everything is ran in this kind of automatic, algorithmic way, simple issues become like a nuke to your livelihood. My little brother has been a YouTuber since he was a little kid. He made his channel when he was very young, and he used to make, obviously, videos that I guess kids could watch because he was a kid. As he got older, he started making content just based on his personality and his age, and once he was an older teen, sometimes he would say bad words or whatever. That's a natural thing that happens as you grow up. Your content may change along with you. And my brother has been making his living from his YouTube channels. And we all think of him as a YouTuber, like that's who he is, that's what his career is. And that's how it's been since he was a kid. But last year he was completely demonetized because of the fact that he used to make kid videos and then he posted on the same channel videos that were not kid friendly because he would say like bad words. And he's completely demonetized, which goes for all of his channels, and he's tried to appeal it. He's deleted the kid videos from when he was a kid. And nothing works because this is something that could easily be fixed in a conversation just by explaining like, hey, I wasn't doing that on purpose to, make kids watch bad word videos. I was making videos as a kid, so it's, kid content, and then as I grew up, the content changed with me. No problem, I can go back and delete the old videos, but can I please be remonetized? Unfortunately, unless you have a super huge channel with lots of people to utilize and direct at YouTube, you have no recourse. You could spend your entire life building something and then have it deleted or completely demonetized overnight, and all you get is a copy-paste email telling you that they thoroughly reviewed it and the decision is final. It just kind of is a sign of the times, I guess, where it's like, it used to be that if you wanted to have a voice, you had to play these power games in, Hollywood or other places. You had to get the approval of certain figures. You had to do things, jump through hoops, be inducted into this group before you could get a voice. And obviously, once you had a voice, you knew there are certain topics you cannot touch or you will be blacklisted and your voice will be taken. For a little while, it was looking like the people were getting a voice because as social media was rising, it was all these different companies that were competing. And so they want to give you freedom because that's the appeal. That's what gets you onto social media, is this desire for a voice, this outlet for expression that you don't have to go through someone to attain. Any person can hop online and express yourself. But now, I think things have gotten to the point where, I'm not trying to be conspiratorial about it, but I'm just saying it's becoming the same thing as it used to be, where there is now this authority that is not based on morals or ethics or any true sense of justice. It's arbitrary and confusing. It's not clear. It's not black and white rules like, if you want to be successful, just don't do these things, right? It's not like that. because that's not how you control people. You control people with shadows and tricks and, have them running in circles, never knowing if they're doing the right thing or not. This kind of AI overlord, social media, kind of rule system is taking the place that religion used to, where it gives you these extremely confusing, unfounded rules that are not even rules, because they never tell you exactly what to do and what not to do. And they just keep you in this constant state of fear that, you can do something for 10 years and it's all good, it's supported, it's loved, and then one day someone in an office somewhere enters a new perimeter into their AI, takedown algorithm thing, and boom, you're gone. And you don't get to say anything about it. And so it's kind of like this, it's just a lack of control that always exists when we get to this level of success in a new system. There are always powers that be that are trying to control narratives, trying to protect certain industries and take down industries where individuals directly benefit. And so it's kind of hard because it's like you can't even really directly talk about it or you'll get nuked. So it's like, I don't know, there's no alternative at this point. I'd love it if there was an alternative to every big social media, and not like a sketchy, weird alternative where it's like the same thing but way worse. It's like, I don't know, I don't even know if it's possible for a company to not become corrupt at a certain point. And there's all this bureaucracy where it's like rules don't make sense on a big picture level. It's like each rule is made with no regard to the bigger system. It's just thrown in there in papers, and it's so confusing that even if that's your specialty to review those rules, terms and conditions, even if it's your specialty, there's still gray area of debating like what's allowed, what's not allowed. It's I don't know, it's terrible. And also it's terrible to take the voice away from certain groups of people based off of arbitrary ethical concerns that are coming from like a religious puritanical standpoint. And it's like, oh, if you do something that goes against this kind of puritanical worldview, you no longer get a voice anywhere. You are now reduced to whatever name we want to call you and whatever box we want to put you in. And if you want to continue your career, you might have to go back, you might have to go through, evil, disgusting industries that you don't want to be a part of. But you no longer have the choice of like being a standalone creator because you have no power alone. And I don't know, it's kind of like you get stuck in this between a rock and a hard place. And I'm purposefully keeping it somewhat vague because, you know, it's like you don't even know what you're allowed to say or not say nowadays, so I don't even want to directly say things, but I hope you get the gist of what I'm saying without me directly saying it. It's just, I don't know. Also, it's kind of given me a deeper appreciation for what I get to do on my channel, because it's kind of like when someone dies and you start questioning, or it just intensifies how you value the people around you and your own life, and kind of wakes you up a little and makes you stop taking things for granted, because having the freedom to express yourself and create it's the best thing ever. Like, this is my dream job. This is my dream life, to be able to create things, you know, as weird or as normal, as chaotic or as relaxing, you know, getting to have that expression every day is an incredible gift. And I don't know, you know, no matter how the future goes, because it's not just this that is, you know, putting things at risk. It's also like AI slop is kind of taking over the internet, and, you know, I've tried to like learn how to use AI tools because, you know, if you can't beat them, join them. But it's like, it's just at a certain point, I feel like AI may kind of drown out the human voices, and I think suppressing even slightly controversial voices it's not even where it starts, right? Because it's already started a while ago, but it's the next step is they already got the super controversial people out of the way. Now the circle of suppression tightens, and they start picking people off right and left who are on that outer circle, and eventually, you know, it's gonna be like, if things keep going like this, it's gonna be like there's only gonna be certain accounts allowed that are state supported, state endorsed, and all other voices will fall away and be ostracized, and people will allow it because they want to be endorsed by the state, and they want to be one of those voices that's allowed, and so they won't care about the people that are not allowed because they just want to distance themselves so that they have a chance. And it's hard because it's not just one side if you're thinking about it politically. I know a few years back, there was a lot of conservative people talking about cancel culture and we're not allowed to say anything, we're not allowed to do anything, whatever. But it's both sides. People that are more liberal or left-leaning are, when they have power, they're super controlling of those people, picking those people off right and left. And then when conservative people have power, they're super controlling based off of like puritanical belief systems. They're picking people off right and left. And it's like, who is winning? Someone is winning. And that is whoever wants to control the narrative, whoever has power, whoever has their fingers in the rule books. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I don't know who is doing it, but I have to feel like it's people who don't want the people to have a say in what happens, right? And so when certain changes happen in reality for humanity, you have no choice but to allow it. But as you allow it, you can also manipulate it back into a place where you're able to puppeteer. And I think that's what's happening. I think the old establishments are trying to get a handle on how to control the people in this new day and age. And, you know, unfortunately, it is kind of one of those things where it's like, until you are directly affected or afraid, you kind of don't talk about it. Like, I haven't really talked about this or worried about it too much because I had freedom. I felt free. I felt like as long as I don't do anything crazy, I'll be good. But now I'm realizing that's not true. I can follow common sense practices and rules and still get nuked. And like, there's nothing that you can do about it. Like, this is the reality. I mean, this, like, what I'm doing right now is all I can do, which is talk about it while I still have a voice, and you know, try to like focus on the things that I can control instead of the things that I cannot. But you know, it's like, how I'm 26. How bad is it gonna get by the time I'm 40 or 50? You know, because in the past, there was a lot of censorship, but there was a lot less tools. You know, now they have like flock cameras going up and all the AI is rapidly progressing, and so many people make a living on the internet. So many people use these systems that should be considered human rights to a certain extent. Like, some people get banned off of like banking apps and like things that like you would not expect somebody to get banned off of unless they were doing like a serious crime, right? People can get banned off of that just because of social backlash, because they're a controversial figure or whatever. And that's wrong, and that's weird. So it's like, I don't know. For me personally, I feel positive about the future, and I feel hopeful, and I think that the best thing we can do is not let fear control our decisions and our voices. You know, I grew up in a really religious upbringing that I had that feeling my entire childhood, this feeling of there's this arbitrary rule system that I need to follow, and I spend every waking moment trying to be good, trying to do the right thing, and also live my life, you know? But at any moment, I can be accused of wrongdoing, and I had this sense of perpetual guilt projected onto me. And to me, this is the same feeling, this feeling of like people projecting bad intentions onto you, projecting their own worst ideas onto you, and saying that you are guilty of a crime just because they have some elements of themselves that they have not integrated and that they're afraid of. And I don't know. It's like how long can I talk about this while being somewhat vague, you know what I mean? But yeah, basically I am going to continue for as long as I can to create, express myself, and speak when I feel called to. And oh yeah, that's the other thing I was gonna say. Let's stop policing other people's behavior. Obviously, I'm not talking about if they do something that's like objectively wrong, like if they hurt someone. But like, why are we being so nitpicky about people's behaviors? Like, if you use this word or this slightly different word, or if you, like, you know what I mean? There's so many different little rules that every single person has a different version of, and it's just like, this is what they want. United we stand, divided we fall. Or I don't know if it's the other way, like divided we fall, united we stand, whatever. Like, why are we policing other individuals? We should be focused on, I mean, it's fine to disagree with people, but like, why are you trying to ruin their life because you have a different opinion than them? I get it. You know, I get angry too when people say fucked up things. You know, I get mad, and you get that feeling of like, oh, I wish that, you know, that there wasn't that kind of opinion in the world. But after you're mad, you kind of calm down and you can appreciate the fact that we're all allowed to have different opinions, and people are allowed to say whatever they want, and we should be able to too. And we should be able to have conversations about it, nuanced conversations, where we assume that the other party has good intentions also. Basically, freedom is the critical point. If you have freedom and they have freedom, we can solve anything. If anyone has their freedom taken away, like the freedom mainly to discuss ideas and express ideas, if that freedom is taken away, everything else falls from there. That's the critical point. That's the Jenga block. That when you pull it out, the tower crumbles. So, you know, it's like, you get it. It's I don't know. I just feel like people should be allowed to be full multidimensional beings that express themselves in ways that you might not agree with, but you respect their freedom to do so. Because if not, we've seen what happens. It builds up inside people, and you know, like, I don't know, I've seen people talk online about how, like, you know, they got radicalized one way or another because their voice was suppressed, and originally their voice wasn't even, like, problematic. It was just they had a slightly different opinion, and they were suppressed over and over until they, you know, went a little cuckoo. And so, I don't know, it's like, let's just not do that, right? Let's all just chill for a minute, and let's stop using AI to make nuanced decisions. AI does not have nuance. At a certain point, it's like a coin toss. You know what I mean? Like, if you ask ChatGPT a question, it might give you one answer, and then you ask, like, are you sure about that? And then it gives you a different answer. It's like, I'm pretty sure that's how the AI systems are deleting people's channels. Like, it's somewhat random, and again, it just really reminds me of the feeling of religion, where it's like, you're gonna die and burn in hell forever unless you accept Jesus as your savior. How do you do that? Oh, you have to believe in him 100%. And as long as you do that, even if you do it for 1 second, that's enough to cross the threshold. Sounds easy, right? Well, it's not, because that's arbitrary. There's no way to know if you ever pass the threshold of believing enough, believing 100%. And it's kind of the same thing. It's like, in this AI surveillance world that we're moving into, you'll never get peace of mind. You'll never know if you crossed the threshold of being, you know, good enough for AI, good enough for these weird rule systems that are like, that are evaluating you for things that you've never even considered a possibility. It's like the good place, you know, it's like, this is like my own personal hell, where it's like, you're just constantly getting in trouble, even though you're trying so hard to be good and follow the rules. And, like, I'm not actually getting in trouble, it's more of like, the fear of getting in trouble is like looming over me constantly. And I think that's true for a lot of people, but especially people who are on the outer circle of the endorsed voices. But anyways, yeah, hopefully this is just a blip and things which is hard because it's like, I want to talk about this, but I don't want to focus on it too much. You know what I mean? But you kind of have to like process things in order to move on from them. And so this is me processing this, and I don't know. I appreciate everything. I appreciate you for being here. I appreciate this ASMR room I'm in right now. This is my ASMR room. Sometimes I get burnt out from feeling pressure that I put on myself to make videos. But at the end of the day, this is what I love to do. I love to be creative and do random things and come up with ideas and act it out. This is what I've been doing since I was a little kid, and I would write plays for me and my siblings to act out. And this is what I want to do. And so, whether or not we move into a more restrictive time, I will always appreciate this time of my life where I've been able to create freely and express myself as my job. So, yeah, everything's gonna be okay. Either way, we'll figure it out. We always do. And, yeah. Use your voice before it's too late. Anyways, I love you. Thank you for watching.